Okay, let's try this one more time with feeling this time. This is my third time recording because technology just decides that it doesn't want to have unlimited storage, and that's fine. So, this is my channel, Entity Tarot, where once a week at least I am going to do a tarot video. It may be a pickup card, it may be a general reading. And this week, I decided to jump on the collective bandwagon of doing something for 2024. Even though the energy that's going to hit you, that would enable you to implement any and all of your New Year's resolutions, is not going to hit you until Aries season. The collective agreement is strong. So, because everybody wants to be doing this whole New Year's resolution thing, and that's the collective idea that everybody's jumped on, it still does carry some momentum. So, without further ado, we're going to have 3 piles. One is going to be this moonstone here. Love her. She is great. 2 is going to be this celestite right here. She's also great. And third is going to be this bloodstone right here. She is also fantastic, also great. So, because I've already recorded, we're halfway through the first pile. So what I'm gathering is, for the New Year's resolution, it is split so far between 2 groups, one of which has already been in their hermit period, and one of which is undergoing that currently. It's strange to try to summarize things that you've already channeled, but what I've got thus far for both groups is that your current work situation, the current way that you are meeting your physical needs, is no longer sitting well with you, mentally or emotionally, maybe even physically. And as a result, you have to, or have had to, go within to identify what it is that you would rather be putting your attention and energy towards that would also get you to this end goal of, I have a place to live, I have food on my table, all that jazz. So with the Hermit, the Fool, and the Nine of Pentacles, that's what that's giving. Now, it's clarified by the Hierophant, the Ten of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Now, this is where I feel a deviation from just a regular old, oh, this isn't working for me and I want to do something different. I would say that in the West, we have this conditioning that says that you have to do things that you hate, and you have to force yourself to do these things in order to get breadcrumbs as a kickback. And that is what I feel like the bulk of the evaluation is about, is because it's like a forced evaluation with the Wheel of Fortune from your circumstances, and you could say the universe, if you want to word it that way, where your circumstances, environmentally and otherwise, are forcing you to look at how your current job, your current endeavors are not giving you what you need in terms of your mental, emotional, and physical health. So, moving forward, the theme is, how can I get all my needs met physically and also do it in such a way where it feels like a win-win, where I'm not on the verge of burnout and I'm not sacrificing myself in any way, shape, or form to get a little bit back. Then we've got the Wheel of Fortune clarifying the Hermit and the Hierophant. The Five of Cups, Eight of Wands, and King of Pentacles clarifying the Fool, which is giving kind of a little bit more of a detailed explanation than what I just gave, which is that your current circumstances are not doing it for you in the emotional and mental realm. So whether you're thinking of doing entrepreneurial things or just getting to another job that will take into consideration your best interests in these fields, as well as give you what you need in order to make ends meet, that's the sweet spot. Now with the Nine of Wands, it's clarified by the Queen of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and then the Three of Swords, Four of Swords, Three of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So I don't know if you had recently gone through a tumultuous period of, I would say, heartbreak of any kind, and that doesn't necessarily mean, that doesn't necessarily mean romantic heartbreak, although it could. It could just be that you had a sort of period of disillusionment when it came to a job, and you may have thought going into it, wow, this is great, they care about me, and now you're experiencing or have had experiences that have woken you up to the reality that this cannot continue to go on the way that it is, because I'm not feeling awesome. And the Three of Cups and the Ace of Cups is usually Three of Cups is like community, and the Ace of Cups is a sort of like new emotional beginning. So I feel like that's more so what you're looking for. Like, you know what you want because you know what you don't want. You know that you want something that is going to emotionally fulfill you, that's actually going to take your emotional needs and your mental health into consideration. And I think that a lot of us collectively are going through this, or have had at least run-ins with this. And it's not an individual sort of theme. It's a collective theme. And what I mean by that is society is the sum of its parts. So if you get like 5 people that are undergoing this sort of inquiry within themselves, it's not going to make that much of a wave. But given that we've got things like inflation and all of that jazz economically going on, it's putting a collective pressure on everybody to reevaluate exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So you're a part of a collective, as we all are, of people that are realizing that the current system cannot function as it is in a healthy way without there being a loser. And we have to do away with the old system and figure out how we're going to create something that works for everybody. So, for instance, it may not even be like an anarchy sort of thing. It's more like, okay, well, corporations and CEOs that are making millions and billions of dollars do not give a single damn about their employees to the degree that they will actually pay them a fair wage, even though they could absolutely afford to do so. So you could call that like a win-lose scenario, where despite them having enough resources to impact the collective in a way that would be beneficial, they are not. And so as a result, we now have to take action accordingly, because we can't continue to operate the way that we are and expect different results. That's just insane. So I think that this is spot on, especially given the current climate of things. So I'm going to get some closing messages, because we're pretty much already through pulling the main bulk of the cards. So let's see. Advice moving forward, any sort of general themes, anything else that wants to be made visible and touched on. So this card of it is what it is, I find it interesting that there's a closed door on this one as well as on the Hermit. I feel like you've come to an acceptance, and if you haven't, you will soon be coming to an acceptance of the things that you cannot change immediately. Like, you can't force a collective shift from your living room. It's not going to happen. So there's a certain degree of acceptance that's going on with the state of things, and instead of banging on a closed door, so to speak, you're reevaluating what it is that you can do from your current standpoint, which leads me to the body and soul, which is, okay, right here, right now, what do I need? What do I need to take care of myself? What is it that I need in order to feel like I actually have energy to face this degree of acceptance day by day, every day that I wake up? And then in perfect harmony is the last card, sitting over the Nine of Wands, which is signifying to me less of a human perspective and more of a grander sort of objective perspective. And what I mean by that is we all hear that everything, you know, like works in a certain order, and there's like a divine orchestration to things, and you know, what is chaos to the fly is orderly to the spider, and things of that nature. So knowing that the pressure that's being put on us and on you on an individual level and us on a collective level is necessary in order for this to get better. Like, things have to get worse before they get better. Not they have to get better. I mean, they will. It's inevitable that they get better. But nothing is going to change if all of us don't put up a big stink in whatever way that looks like. And we're not going to put up a big stink because our collective conditioning makes it so that way we have a very, 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 very high threshold for pain and discomfort, and we can hold that in all day. We can complain about it, we can be passive aggressive about it, and we will wake up the next day and go to work because that's just what you do. And that's not going to last. That's not a sustainable method of operation, if you will. So, no matter how tumultuous you may feel that these times are, and that isn't to say in a way that negates the frustration and depression and sadness, anxiety, and all the slew of negative emotions that come with that, it's merely to say that that needs to happen, and that button or those buttons need to be pressed on us collectively and individually in order for us to get up and say something about it and make things change. Because if we don't, what's the word I'm looking for? If we don't advocate for our experience and say, hey, this actually doesn't work for me, and take our own emotional state, mental state, physical state sincerely to the degree that we are actually able to advocate in a sincere and firm way, because there, at a certain point, there is going to be no wiggle room for like breadcrumbs. Like, oh, it's okay that I'm making less than living wage, you know, like, I get it. Like, no, it's not going to be that passive. And I'm not saying that we're going to be throwing shit through windows and, you know, being aggressive like that. But what I am saying is that there needs to come a point where we all take it sincerely enough to deem it as important enough to be firm about it. So, with deep breath being on the bottom, take it slow, day by day. Do what it is that you need to do in quite literally a moment by moment basis to take care of yourself. And try not to be so future oriented, like long term future oriented, because there's going to be a lot of shifts that no individual person can predict with accuracy, because we're all in this together. So take it day by day. And know that everything is, I know that it's going to sound really frustrating for a lot of you. I can feel it now. Know that everything is working out the way that it needs to. I described a little bit previously about how that actually takes place. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck for a little bit of it. And it doesn't have to suck as bad, because there are things within your realm of influence that you can do to help find relief. Because we're not going to be able to make everything picture perfect in the... Alright, so I already finished pile 1, and I think that it cut off because it just stopped recording because I had to fix my storage space. So we're going to start on pile 2, and sorry about you, but I feel like the message came through loud and clear. There's not really much elaboration that needed to happen. So pile 2 is the Celestite. Let's see what wants to come through for you. We're going to try to make this quick because this is my 4th go around. I'm not taking all those. I actually just want 1. I'm going to keep it to 3. One more. Alright. You know, I'm not really surprised that the Nine of Fire is like a repeating theme, because with everybody focused on their New Year's resolutions and what they're going to be doing differently and what they want to be doing differently, that seems like that makes sense. Dang, I really wish I would have remembered my water. Okay. Six of Water, Ace of Earth, and the Nine of Fire. So with the Six of Water, I'm getting two things. One of which is an endeavor that you may have wanted to do or used to do when you were a kid, and figuring out how to ground that into the physical. It could be an idea, it could be a project, it could be a business, it could be literally anything. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be focused on money. That's just what I'm getting, and I'm not surprised, because, well, I went into it in the first pile, but essentially just the collective pressure that's being put on us by the situations and circumstances surrounding us, and just the way that we're being treated by people that have influence. I'm not even going to say power, but I guess you could label it as power. Power and influence over how we get our needs met and how feasible that is and how easy that is for us to do that. So I'm not surprised that people are looking for alternative ways to make income that are actually in alignment with them emotionally and mentally. So, Six of Water, Ace of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords. Oh, and the other one, sorry, I forgot. The other is a new sort of practical beginning, if you will, with people from your past. Or maybe people that you used to know, people you used to hang out with, maybe people that are coming back in, and you're seeing how you can fit them into your experience. And if that's something that you want to be doing. But I also feel like it could be like a business collaboration sort of thing, maybe a collaboration on creative projects with these people from the past, or maybe just people that you know. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that. So Two of Cups with the Ace of Earth, and the Knight of Wands, Nine of Fire. Okay, Nine of Cups on the bottom with the Star and the Ten of Swords. I don't take reversals, but it did come out reversed, and it was giving me a little bit of a feeling. And when I get that feeling, it usually tells me that if I did take reversals, it would have been reversed. So, I'm feeling that now with the clarifiers, this is more about a collaborative sort of experience with people. Ace of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, you want to work together as a team. You want to be able to make whatever it is that this is work. And the Two of Cups with the Knight of Wands, you don't want flighty energy. You don't want inconsistent energy. You don't want perhaps what you've experienced in the past, if that is that. And as a result, you want the opposite. You want to ground something that is stable, that is mutual, that is mutually watering, if you will. With the Nine of Fire, the Star, and the Ten of Swords, what that gives is that there was some sort of ending, there was some sort of pain. And either you're working on healing that, or you're wanting to work on healing that with these people or with new people. it could also be that you're only interested in grounding this if that is even possible, if the healing is possible. Whether this is connected to a New Year's resolution or not, that's not really a necessary component of this. Let's see what else wants to come out. Ah. Just like to be throwing 7 cards at a time. So Chariot and the Nine of Swords, clarifying the Six of Water, Ace of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles. And what that tells me is that there's some anxiety, some unsettling energy within your mind, some fears, some worries about moving forward, and the Devil on the bottom. So I feel like if this is pertaining to people that you want to or are thinking about entertaining, there are fears of, well, what if that happens again? And what if they do this thing again? So the Knave of Pentacles with the Death card and the King of Cups. So with Temperance on the bottom. So either this is you or this is them. Wanting to take it slow because you have emotionally matured, or you have matured in such a way where you're now able to see why things went badly in the past. Or these people are exhibiting this sort of mature energy and you're still wanting to take it slow because you don't know if the change is real. But if it is, you would like to work on things. You would like to collaborate with them. It's almost like a is this too good to be true kind of experience. But also, it doesn't really necessarily give me the feeling that you're going in blind. It's like, okay, like, if this is that, then we're going to take it slow and this is how we're going to do it. And if you're just on some shit and you're playing games, then I don't want it. That's the energy that I'm getting. So the Tower and the Queen of Wands with the Nine of Cups on the bottom, clarifying the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Swords, and the Star. So this could be either you or them, take it as it resonates, but the Queen of Wands being very confident, self-assured, like quote-unquote attractive individual. And maybe your maturity, your glow-up, as it were, is shocking to people because you are not the version of you that you were when this Ten of Swords energy had gone down. Which is usually kind of like, oh, you know, like somebody hurt another person, whether intentionally or unintentionally through ignorance or malice. With the Nine of Cups, it could have been a romantic partner, romantic situation, somebody you had feelings for, they had feelings for you, wanting to work on things, but conflict was abound. Should be a storyteller. So 2024 for you seems like it will involve a decision about how you want to proceed forward with potential people from the past, and how they fit into your practical sort of experience, because you obviously do have needs that need to be met, both like, not both, but mentally, emotionally, and physically. And if you invite the wrong people in, it's just going to be another thing on your plate for you to try to balance and potentially end up getting hurt again. So, let's see. Okay, so what I'm getting is maybe you recently walked away from these people. Maybe it wasn't even so recent. Maybe you just walked away from them because over the Six of Water we have willing release. So after everything played out the way that it did, you willingly released these people. And then the Rose's Kiss, which I don't have the book for this, so I'm just intuitively reading. It's kind of giving me death card energy, like a rebirth. Like, after you walked away, you continued doing whatever it is that you needed to do for yourself. And with the Call of the Muse covering the Nine of Fire, what that's giving is a sort of like Queen of Wands, like transformed, like you're out of that chrysalis if we're using like bug terminology. And you could have even had a sort of, I don't want to say spiritual awakening to generalize it, but you could have had experiences that allowed you to see beyond the current situation and take this leap of faith into yourself, your own growth. So what's the advice? I don't think I pulled advice for the first pile because the camera decided to do what it did. So what's the advice or anything else that wants to come through? Feel into your emotions and feel how these people make you feel. Does it make you feel tight and constricted to think about letting them back in? Does it feel like it opens you up and you feel like there is like a green light intuitively? With the Nine of Cups here, what I'm getting very clearly is focus on your own personal like fulfillment and your own emotional fulfillment. Because if you had to release these people before, then if it's not an absolute whole body yes, then it's a no. So yeah, that's that for pile 2. We're doing great so far. Let's see if my camera holds out for pile 3. Alright, pile 3. My camera's been doing crazy things today, so we're going to try to get through this and get everything that you need to hear all out on the table, both literally and figuratively. So the Bloodstone, this is pile 3. So your 2024, what's the themes, what wants to come through for your 2024, what you need to be focusing on, and all that jazz. 2024. I'm going to do one at a time. We're not spilling the whole thing all over the place. We are civilized. Sometimes. So for pile 3, pile 3, pile 3. Of course you would try to give me 4 when I just said 3. So give me one more. Okay. Ooh. Okay. 10 of Cups on the bottom, 8 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords. Y'all going through a rough time. Y'all have gone through a rough time, maybe recently, maybe you're going through it now. Some sort of heartbreak, some sort of disappointment, some sort of pain emotionally going on. Eight of Fire. Tell me more about this Eight of Fire. Oh, maybe moving beyond. Let's see. King of Cups, 7 of Swords, and the Star. So what that tells me is you have gone through this period of heartbreak and sadness, despair, pain, all of those things. Utilized that experience to educate you and in an emotionally intelligent level about betrayal and just untrustworthy individuals, and you are healing that within yourself. With the Magician on the bottom. So you are trying to manifest more like-minded individuals into your experience that are not going to bring shady stuff into your experience, which I get it. 5 of Water. The Chariot. So what that tells me is that you have moved past, even if there are still remnants and like, because you're a human being, emotions relating to like feeling sad about it, sad about the situation, it could have been another way, things like that. You're moving forward. You're not dwelling anymore. I don't get that energy. Yep, Hierophant coming out to clarify that, and the High Priestess on the bottom, you see it for what it is. 3 of Air. 9 of Pentacles with the 9 of Cups. You're focused on your own experience. You're focused on what it is that you want for yourself. You're focused on your independence. Specifically, the opposite of codependency. You're just trying to be, and quite successfully, I feel like, focused on your own needs, wants, and desires, independent of these other individuals. And you're also not trying to manifest that back in for yourself, which understandably so, because why would you want that? Okay. The Empress, the Moon, and the 7 of Wands. So what I'm getting is that you're in this sort of Empress energy with the 7 of Pentacles on the bottom, and you're building for yourself in the direction of this 9 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, direction where you are just doing and being everything that you want to be. So the Empress is a very like fertile individual, if you will. You could very literally be fertile, but fertile as in ready to create. And the Moon usually involves like the subconscious, but I feel like both of these could be true. So the Moon, if it involves the subconscious realm, clarified by the 7 of Wands, is giving that you, on a subconscious level, are used to having to defend yourself and protect yourself from just individuals that don't have your best interest at heart and don't know how to have healthy relationship and don't want to have harmony. They want to have conflict. So that could be what you're working through, is just the tying up loose ends of, I only know how to be prepared for people to betray me or be untrustworthy. I've never experienced a consistent sort of group of people where we've actually been committed to cultivating the connection in a balanced way, even though we are human and prone to being triggered by one another and, fighting and disagreements and things like that. It doesn't have to be the end of the friendship. It doesn't have to be the end of the relationship. It doesn't have to be blown out of proportion. Now, the other way I could read this is that you are this Empress individual, and the Moon being intuition. So very intuitive, very in your power, very creative. And as a result, you are wanting to protect and preserve this newfound state of being with the 7 of Wands. And continue to build with the 7 of Pentacles, plant your seeds for what it is that you want to be bringing in for yourself. 5 of Water. So 9 of Pentacles, Justice, and the Fool. So that's pretty much self-explanatory, just different cards saying the same thing. 9 of Pentacles, Justice, and the Fool. So you're focused on your own personal endeavors, bringing in things that will meet your practical needs. And the Fool, which is the very beginning of that journey. The King of Cups on the bottom. So you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. 3 of Air. All right. I hope that's not too loud on the microphone. I forgot to bring a water. Emperor on the bottom, you've got the Two of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. So forward-looking into the future, whether short-sighted future or long-term or both, you are wanting stability. You want something that's solid. You want something that's dependable. You want creativity, passion, drive, like never a dull moment, but that doesn't mean it's from a place of flightiness or, ooh, shiny thing, let me just go jump over here and jump over here and jump over here, like grass is greener syndrome. The King of Wands does not give that, and the Emperor on the bottom also does not give that. You want something that is long lasting, that is legitimately going to be stable, but also it's fun. It's fun, it's creative, it's exactly what you want. So let's see what comes out with these. This is pretty straightforward. So, Merry Motive, the Uncharted Sea, and the Royal You. Fantastic. And Willing Release on the bottom. So, willingly releasing this past version, this past chapter, and looking forward to the future. You have the intention to move forward from a place of, I love myself, I know that I deserve better, I know what I don't want, so I know what I do want. And then the Uncharted Sea with the Five of Water, which is giving kind of what I said before of like, I've never actually had connections where I didn't have to protect myself from active stabbing. If that makes sense. Not actually stabbing, of course, but if that is the case, then you extra need to stay away from them people. But the Uncharted Sea, it's an adventure of becoming the version of yourself that is discerning. Yes, of course, like everybody is operating from a space of they don't know what they don't know about themselves, so everybody carries within them a degree of uncertainty, and therefore not like none of us can be trusted at face value. And that's not to say like, oh, don't trust anybody, but within reason, don't just put your blinders on and your rose-colored glasses and go, oh, it's perfect, it's everything I've ever dreamed. Because like I said, everybody has subconscious aspects, which means they don't know what they don't know, which means that you're opting into and agreeing to a connection with somebody that may have behaviors and characteristics that they don't even know about, that they can't even tell you about, even if they want to. So, the Uncharted Sea, just going out there, seeing what's for you, seeing what you can bring in, and connecting with individuals that don't intentionally hurt you out of insecurity or ignorance or malice. And then the Royal You, which is this Empress energy, which is now you're coming out, you know, like, feels like you have a solid foundation of self-worth to understand what the situation was, what it isn't, what you want instead, and what you're unwilling to accept moving forward. So yeah, I don't really feel like I need to pull advice. All I would say is, continue to use your discernment and continue to educate yourself in whatever way that you feel is necessary in relation to how to have connection with people, how to have yourself and have other people too, and not fall into the same traps, and yeah, just human stuff. So yeah, thanks for tuning into the reading. I hope that, 11:11. I hope that it resonated. I hope that you found what you were looking for. I hope that y'all just have a good day, good experience. This is the only one that actually got an outro because technology be crazy. So, yeah, I'll see you next week. Have a good one.